Welcome to another 21 Hats Dashboard. I'm Loren Feldman. I'm here with Gene Marks to talk about the things we think business owners should be following this week. Welcome, Gene.
Hello, Loren. How are you?
Great. Great to have you here.
Glad to be here.
Happy New Year. Hope your year's off to a good start.
So far, so good. We're only just a few days in, but we're there. So that's good.
Excellent.
9 days in.
Gene, as usual, you've been writing and talking about stuff that matters to business owners. This week, I want to start with a piece you wrote for The Guardian about non-compete clauses, which the FTC wants to ban. There's a lot of support for non-competes among kind of Chamber of Commerce types. What do you think?
I think non-compete clauses are useless for small businesses. I even going to the effect of spending the time on banning them almost seems like a waste of time because people include them in employment agreements all the time, and they get ignored all the time. Most small businesses, like, you include them just as because it's something to include. But I've never known.
It tells you to.
Yeah, it's like lawyers tell you to include it, and it's all part of any standard employment agreement template. I don't think I've ever had a single client go after an employee for leaving the company that goes to work for a competitor. I can understand having it, and there might, there's probably there's definitely cases among big businesses that, if you leave Google to go and work for Microsoft or, something like that, there's potentially some intellectual property that you're taking with you that.
But there is still protection for that, right? I mean,
there is, and you would think that you would have that. The issue with the non-competes, though, is that they tend to go after the employees, and most of the employees that I know, don't have any money anyway. Like, what are you going to go after, like, some guy because he's? I just had this at a client that he's a purchasing manager at a client of mine, as a manufacturer, and he left, and then he went to to work for a competitor of theirs, not too far away, like in Pennsylvania, and they were pissed. And, he has an employment agreement. He had an employment agreement, and there was a non-compete clause, but they're just like, what are you going to do? What are you going to sit there and waste our time and spend attorney's fees going after the guy? And then even if we get the guy, there's no, what money does this guy have? What are you going to get out of him? Do you know what I mean? So.
What about a situation where like somebody is taking, client relationships or something like that, or, a list of clients and information that is proprietary? Can you do something about that?
Yeah. It is that. There is that issue that's there, but it kind of speaks to an organization. Like, I'll give you an example. Like in my company, I often get, like employees of mine will get offered by clients like, hey, why don't you do this for me on the side? And we won't tell Gene, and I'll just pay you a lower rate. Do you know what I mean? And and that's happened, more than a few times, where
that a client will, about.
Yeah, and the employee will tell me every time, because I have a good enough relationship with people saying this guy said he wanted to do this. And, it makes you, pisses you off because you're like, what the fuck is this guy? What a jerk.
Do you confront them then? What do you do?
No, I haven't really confronted I thank the employee for doing it. In some cases, if it's a really small client, I'm like, hey, you know what? If you want to just do this for them on the side, I don't really care. It's fine. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to, it's just not worth my time. And if an employee left me to go to work for a competitor, and we've got our clients, I wouldn't even be that, I think it would be like more fool on me. Like, if I had to say I had an employee and they're like, in your example, they're working with a bunch of my clients, and then they leave and they go to a competitor of mine and they want to, bring my clients on with them. If the client's relationship is so strong with that employee, and less so with my firm, then isn't that more indicative of my failing as a business owner? Of not giving value to that client from a firm perspective. Like, they're so reliant on that one person. Do you know what I mean? Like, I almost feel like it's, I guess I'm not doing my job if one employee can walk away and take clients with them. It's more my responsibility to make sure that I'm delivering. I've got a relationship with that client, and there are other people working with them. There's a relationship with the Marks Group, not just with Susan at my company. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
So that's the way I look at it.
The argument in favor of non-competes is, among other things, that, an employer puts in a lot of time and effort and money in training employees, and then they disappear either to start their own business or to go to work for a competitor. You have any sympathy for that argument?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly happens. I mean, my feeling is that if you're really, really good at what you do, you shouldn't have to worry about losing clients in that way. I also feel that if you've got a good employee and they leave you and they're going to go and they're going to compete against you, it's going to cause you to up your game that much more. I don't know. I just I don't worry about that kind of shit. Like if we're really good at what we're doing as an organization, then I'm not going to be concerned if somebody steals clients or threatens to walk away with customers. It's just not on my priority list of stuff to do. I'd be certainly pissed at it, but I think I'd be more pissed at myself than the employee.
Of course, I don't think any of this has anything to do with why the FTC and the Biden administration are interested in doing this. I think their sense is that its non-compete clauses hold down wages and that this frees up competition and wages will increase because of it. Do you think that's likely to happen?
Yeah, I mean, the Biden administration is pro-worker and pro-employee. You know what I mean? And what they want is to give employees the ability, you're right, to move and to increase their livelihood and to do better for themselves. And they feel that employees are limited from doing this because of these of a non-compete agreement. So, I mean, I can understand that, why they're out to do that. I just kind of feel like you pick your battles. And I'm not sure who's gonna step up and battle this with the FTC. I suspect it'll be bigger companies, large,
Silicon Valley, maybe.
Yeah, big tech companies. You know what I'm saying? Like, like Elon Musk would be pretty pissed if like one of his key employees from Tesla leaves to go to a competing auto manufacturer that's trying to develop battery powered vehicles. Do you know what I mean? Like that's tough for companies of that size. But for smaller businesses like mine, I don't think it's just something that I would even want to battle over.
So we should specify, this has not actually happened. This is a proposal. There'll be a comment period and then a final decision, which could take quite a bit of time, I suspect. And then there'll be litigation.
Yeah, then there'll be litigation against it. So it's going to take a while, like anything else, for this to come to fruition. But I think as a business owner, you should walk away knowing that the writing is on the wall, that your non-compete agreement, and this has been talked about for a while. This is not like new news. Right. I actually thought the DOL was going to be the one to lead this charge, not the FTC. So, we've been telling our clients that have this non-competes and employee agreements, like you shouldn't, I wouldn't give too much weight to them. They're not protecting you that much.
Got it. All right. Next topic. You recently wrote for the Philadelphia Inquirer about a new federal law that will affect retirement plans for small businesses, what they can offer their employees. What did you find there?
Yeah, this is huge, Loren. I mean, it's called Secure 2.0. It was part of the omnibus spending bill that passed at the very end of 2022. So it's very very recent, just a couple weeks ago. Right. Yep. And it is it carries on from the Secure Act of 2019. And what it's trying to do is it's trying to address retirement savings and to encourage both business owners and employees to put more money away for retirement. And there are some pretty huge things coming in the next 4 or 5 years as part of this act that if you're a business owner, you really need to make sure you're aware of. For example, starting in 2025, you will be required to withhold money and put your employees' money into a 401k plan. Have it's called automatic enrollment in a 401k, 3% of their compensation. Now your employees can opt out of that. But as an employer, you're going to have that sort of mandate to do that initially for any new employees. Now, I want to be just clear that the more that your employees put away into their retirement plans, the more you can put away into your 401k plan, right?
That's a tricky thing that I think a lot of people might not understand. Explain how that works.
Yeah. If you have a 401k plan in your business, there's only a certain amount you can contribute before you fail these discrimination tests, which basically means that as a highly compensated or an owner of the company, you're only allowed to contribute a certain amount relative to what your employees are contributing. Those discrimination tests are designed so that you can encourage your employees to contribute more. So the more they contribute,
and the idea is so that it's not just valuable to the highest paid employees or the owner of the business, but also to lower level employees.
Correct, which is as a business owner, you should be looking at the Secure 2.0 provisions because there's all sorts of things that are encouraging employees to put money into their 401ks, like this automatic enrollment. And the more they do put it away, the more that you'll be able to put away as well. There's some other things in the Secure 2.0, which is really of real interest. For starters, it will almost 100% reimburse you for starting up a 401k plan through tax credits over 3 years. So if you're whining and moaning about the cost of setting up a 401k plan,
the administrative costs.
Yeah, you can shut up at this point because the government will reimburse you for doing it. So nice try there. The other thing that it does is for your younger employees that are paying down their student loans, if they provide documentation to you of what they paid down during the year of their student loan, you can put a matching contribution now into their 401k plan based on what they say they paid down on their student loans. And it's pre-tax. They don't get taxed on it, and you get a deduction for doing it. So you can say to them, hey, we can still help you out with retirement to get a tax benefit for doing that. Just because you're not putting money into your retirement plan because you're spending it to pay down your student loans, we can still help you out, by doing that. There's another thing in this Secure Act, Loren, that it's really wild. For like 5 years, you can get up to like $1,000 tax credit per employee for when you match any of their contributions for 5 years. So as an employee contributes to a 401k, and if you match their contribution up to $1,000, the government will credit you back that money. They're literally paying for you to match that employee's contribution. That is like fucking amazing, So all of these things are designed, and there's more. There's more.
It's up to $1,000. So I just want to be clear on how much an employee can put in more than that. You can match more than that. But the limit on what the government is going to credit you for is $1,000. That
is correct. That is exactly right. So, but you can, but you still get $1,000.
But it's per employee, so that's a significant amount of money.
What's fascinating about that is the government is whoever designed this. There are a few senators that were very. Rob Portman was one of them. Senator Wyden as well, who I interviewed him for another podcast. Both of them actually. They're smarter than you think for politicians. Because one thing any business owner will tell you is that once you start a benefit, you cannot take it away. You know what I mean? So if you start to match your employees' contributions because you're getting reimbursed by the government over the next 5 years, when that reimbursement ends, it's not like you're going to stop matching because your employee expects that benefit at that point, So it's kind of like a sneaky way to get you, the business owner, into the habit of matching your employee's contribution and then carrying it on even after the credit, expires. Which is fine. It's a good benefit to provide. Listen, like I said earlier, the more your employees contribute, the more you can contribute. And I have more than a handful of clients, Loren, that they have older employees that wanted to retire, didn't put enough money away for retirement, and now the business owner has got to kind of continue them on, in some way or form, even when they're not really that needed. Because, you're loyal to your employees and you want to treat them well, but it's a bit of a burden. So now the government with Secure 2.0 is trying to give all these incentives to put money away for retirement so we don't have to be faced with that situation. So my advice is talk to your payroll company, talk to your accountant, talk to your lawyer, really get familiar with Secure 2.0 and make sure you're offering these benefits because your competitor is going to be offering them. So you might as well make sure you're up to speed.
Does this apply to all businesses, or are there smaller businesses that don't meet a threshold and aren't affected by any of this?
There are different rules depending on the provisions. Like, for example, that automatic enrollment thing. If you have less than 10 employees, for example, or you're a startup, you don't need to do the automatic enrollment thing. The contributions that I mentioned depends on what those employees are contributing and also the size of your business. So different things apply to different size businesses. I can tell you one thing, whenever I mention tax credits though, they do apply to both profits and nonprofit businesses. You can take the credit against your payroll taxes. So, all of that is there. So these are all, it depends, I guess is my answer.
Interesting though.
Yeah, it's really good.
Last topic. You've written previously about a new IRS rule that's going to complicate the use of third-party payment platforms. That rule was set to go into effect this month, I believe, but it's now been put on hold for a year. Can you take us through that quickly?
Yeah, very quickly. It's just that if you're a vendor, you're an artist, and you go to a bunch of different, art shows or whatever, and you sell your paintings and you use Venmo to do that,
Or one of the other platforms.
Or one of the others, Zelle, PayPal, all these other
Cash App.
Right, Cash App. For people that are paying you $200, $300, whatever, they don't have to send you a 1099 if it's under $600. So theoretically, you might forget to report that to the IRS, right? Hopefully not, but you might forget. What can I say?
It probably happens.
It could happen, right? So now the IRS is saying, all right, well, to stop that from happening, we're going to have Venmo report to us, the IRS, and also report to you all the cash receipts that they processed on your behalf, as long as they're under $600. It used to be a much higher amount. So that means that
not $600 per item, it's $600 total per year, right?
Yeah. So, you might have had, 10 $100 transactions with people, as long as you're over $600, you're going to get saying Venmo is going to send you a 1099 saying, we've got, these, a total amount that was processed through us this year. And so that's going to also get reported to the IRS, and therefore no sneaking around, So everybody's like whining and moaning about it. It's because it's going to be more paperwork that has to be tracked. And I guess there is some trueness to that. But it is, it's designed to try and catch those people that aren't reporting their taxes. So, fair enough. My biggest issue with it earlier this year, I didn't see it as much as I thought, but maybe we'll see it again in 2023, is just a lot of scamsters getting involved because PayPal, Venmo, Zelle, Cash App, they might not have all of your information. So, they might be reaching out to you saying, hey, we have to send you a 1099 at the end of the year. We need your Social Security number. We need your EIN number.
So someone else could do the same thing and you think it's them.
That's right. And so I thought I'd be seeing more of that the second half of this year. Maybe the people that do that kind of stuff were so busy with, employment retention tax credit fraud and other schemes that they ignored this. But just be careful. Keep an eye out in 2023. If you get a message from, that seems like it's coming from PayPal or Venmo or Zelle or Cash App or whatever, asking you for this information to update their records, be really, really vigilant about that. You don't want to give that through an email. You want to do that through their website. Don't click on their link in an email. If PayPal is asking you to update records, then fine, go to paypal.com and go to your account there and update it there, not through an email.
So just to be clear, there's a 1-year reprieve. The IRS is not requiring the payment platforms to send out the forms this year. But that doesn't mean you're not supposed to pay taxes on that money earned. Correct?
And I never do. Right. Okay. I don't know what you're doing with your Cash App, but I'm paying my taxes. Okay. Jeez.
I pay all my taxes. Gene, what do you, anything you're working on this week that we should know about and look for?
Yeah, I wrote a piece that'll come out in the Guardian that should be out this week about I'm lamenting the decline of using paper checks.
You're lamenting it.
Yeah, it was an ode to paper checks. Why I'm so sorry to be seeing them go, which might give you a chuckle because it's really targeted at older people that are used to using paper checks. So that's coming out this week, and I'm also going to write a piece for the Inquirer this week about Microsoft Office. I polled a bunch of my technology friends. It's like, give me some tips on little known features and things in Microsoft Office that we might not know about that could make us more productive. So I'm looking forward to accumulating all those together and writing about those.
Excellent. Interesting. All right. Gene Marks is a CPA who writes weekly on small business for The Guardian, The Hill, The Philadelphia Inquirer, The Washington Times, The Chicago Daily Herald, Forbes, and Entrepreneur. The Chicago Daily Herald.
Come on. It's a growing publication.
You could also hear him on ABC Radio's Eye on the World with John Batchelor. Gene hosts 2 small business podcasts with Paychex Corporation and The Hartford. Thank you, Gene.
Thank you, Loren. It's great talking to you. We will talk to you. Actually, I'm going to be back in 2 weeks. We'll talk to you.
You're going to be traveling.
I will be traveling. So when I get back, we'll talk. Okay?
Sounds great. Have a great trip, and we will talk soon. Have a great week, everybody.